Hello traders, happy Tuesday. My name is Jacey with Empire Algorithmic Trading, and it is Vwapvision Stock Talk, where we use the volume weighted average price to make sense of this market. So let's just get right to it. It's time for Stock Talk. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's just JC today. Matt is out this week. And so let's just get right to it. Let's take a look at some charts. We've got the bond market to start. It is very important. I still think this is the important market in the world right now. If the bond market continues to crater, equities are going to go nowhere. So it's very nice to see what we're seeing here. This is called an evening star pattern. So if you have a nice strong downtrend, a wicked gap down, and then a solid gap higher, that's called a morning. I'm sorry, not an evening star. This is a morning star. It just shows a potential bottom, a potential change in trend. It is a little bit short-lived, but it's still bullish, and it's nice to see some continuation after that. And so we just want to see stabilization, right? We just don't want to see the bond market continue to sell off. So this is a very good sign. Now the S&P 500 is in a very interesting pattern here. We're sitting right at the 20-day. I believe the 20-day average. Let's just bring it up here. Yeah, the index is sitting right at its 20-day average. There's a couple of little interesting things here. You have higher lows. Now you have support going on at the VWAP from the all-time low from the last bear market. I shouldn't say all-time low, from the low of the last bear market. That's bullish. You have higher lows. That's bullish. You have what I thought was going to be kind of a flat top, but when I actually started looking at it, you're seeing lower highs. So that is a bullish sign. You're getting lower highs, you're getting higher lows. That tends to show accumulation. However, the whole rain on the parade is the fact that we're running right up to the resistance and declining volume on the move higher, showing a lack of conviction, a lack of buying. However, just on a technical aspect, it's looking interesting. It kind of has some bullish traits to it. It kind of has some bearish traits to it. So we're right at a pivotal point. We've been saying that quite often. Excuse me, my nose itches. We've been saying that quite, I feel like a broken record. This is very pivotal. But that's what happens when you're in a trading range. That's what happens when you're in a potential bear market. Everything seems to be kind of pivotal turning points, and that's kind of where we're at. So we do have the ultimate resistance at 5,600. But what we want to see to get bullish and more excited is we want to see a move higher above the 20-day, a move to that all-time high VWAP, and then a couple of days, back-to-back positive days above that, giving us signs that accumulation is there, institutions are buying in, we're starting to see a new uptrend form. And so we have a clear low, we have a mini trend starting, running right into resistance. So what we want to start seeing is stocks setting up, and we're going to show you plenty of those that's happening. Same pattern on the NASDAQ composite, not quite as clear. Actually, it's a little almost clearer, really, than the S&P 500 when you start drawing lines like that. So that's a pretty bullish thing. Again, lower volume on the move higher. There was clear capitulation down here at this VWAP level down here. Let's see if we can get the chart to zoom out a little bit. Sorry, my computer's a little slow running this recording software. Yeah, that's at the previous all-time high before the bear market. That is a significant low right there. So pretty bullish looking chart there on the NASDAQ composite. What we want to see is a nice strong volume on a push higher. We do have resistance at the all-time VWAP. At the move, the VWAP from this move, the all-time high VWAP is still way up here around 18,700 or 18,700. We're currently sitting at about 16,000. But if we start seeing some clearance, I would get a little excited if we clear this 17,700 level. But really, all we look for is confirmation from the S&P 500. Now, we do want to see all the other indexes participate, but the S&P 500 for our model is the go, no-go zone. So the small caps, have set another bottom. We do want to see these continue to move higher. We want to see broad-based participation in the next rally. The last couple of attempts were very narrow, and it was very challenging. They were a hard environment. We want to see the market firing on all cylinders, so it makes it a little bit easier on us moving forward. And the same thing with the mid-caps. Mid-caps have a nice support here from their lower VWAP, running right into resistance. And however, we want to see the VIX continue to drop. Now, the VIX is actually showing somewhat of a bottoming pattern here. We wanted to see this continue to move, this tight range right here, showing a little bit of indecision, right? Is it going to continue off? Right now, it's showing that the market is expecting a 2% average daily move for the next 30 days. That's still pretty significantly high volatility. So we really want to see that continue to move lower if equities are going to have any chance to form a sustained upper move. We want to see that volatility expectation drop. Now I want to talk about a couple of stocks. Now we have ADMA here. This is a very interesting. This is what I want to talk about and how a stock can break and then reset itself and why we always continue to watch. So ADMA flashed a buy signal back here at the beginning of the red zone. We didn't jump on it for a couple of reasons. One, we were in a red zone, and two, it's a biotech. I've gotten crushed on biotechs a couple of times, and so I've just kind of learned my lesson to try and stay away from these guys. But they are good to watch. And so what you had here was higher lows, and a flat top. That tends to break to the downside when you see that. And that's exactly what happened with ADMA. However, what it did was it set up a very nice tight wedge. And this is a very bullish pattern. When you get lower highs and higher lows, they tend to break out of those. Well, they tend to break in either direction. And when they break higher, it tends to be a nice significant move. You had a very nice breakout here, very strong volume, another strong volume follow through. The interesting thing is it never really flashed a sell signal for our algorithm. So that's why you only see a green arrow here, because it flashed the buy signal. The algorithm was able to write out all that volatility. Whether you could do that as portfolio management, probably not, because that was a pretty significant drop. But as far as the algorithm goes, we didn't program that to look for. We just looked at programming to look for volume, the volume weighted average price and price, right? So very interesting little pattern. That's how a stock can reset. Why, if you do get shaken out, you're going to want to pay attention and just keep watching that stock. It might set up a little bit better and create another buying opportunity for you. What we're starting to see from the leaders is continue to be metal stocks, right? The metal stocks continue to roll. You have Idaho Strategic Resources continue to run after its red zone breakout. UAMY continued a nice run after its breakout. TFPM, Triple Flag Precious Metals, continuing to hit new highs. Another strong breakout. Alamos Gold, strong breakout. Palomar is becoming a leader of leaders right here. It was a red zone breakout, as a lot of the insurance companies at the beginning of this red zone were starting to break out. However, quite a few of them have fallen back. They've fallen by the wayside. Palomar started to shake out with the market sell-off right here, but it's quickly rebounded. Never flashed a sell signal, an algorithm sell signal. It probably would have shaken you out. Let's see how low it got there. Yeah, that's about a 12% hit right there. You probably would have gotten shaken out on that if you were watching your losses. However, the algorithm doesn't pay attention to that. Continue to ride that volatility, and now you're starting to see new all-time highs. Same thing with Royal Gold. Continue to move higher. It sold off hard, found support right at its 10-day moving average. We don't really pay attention to those. We just like to use the one-day volume-weighted average price once the stock does make its move. But for the most part, that thing is just on a tear. And then lower, this one showed up a little late. We found this one on the watch list. It kind of presented itself after the fact. So I was just impressed by the strong move that this has and how it kind of held up relatively well during the sell-off, and how once the sell-off was over and the market appeared to find a bottom, this thing just went on a tear. So this is going to be a potential leader here. I would be pretty good at that. So we're going to watch this one to set up and present us another opportunity right as the market hopefully is hitting a green zone. These are the stocks you want to pay attention to. Now we're getting into the stocks that might potentially be our new leaders. So you have Paymentus, clear resistance going on at the VWAP. It's running right up, set a new low right as the market was making lows, and then quickly rebounded. It's already close to new all-time high territory on a volume-weighted basis. So whenever I say new all-time territory, you got to keep in mind, I'm talking on a volume-weighted basis, right? So this is clear to new all-time high territory well before the market. That is a leading stock. Nutex, it's running right into its VWAP all-time high. If we can see this thing tighten up, particularly right around this level, right around the VWAP, if the market hits a green zone, it would not surprise me to see this stock continue to move. You're going, Jacey, how could you do that? How can I do that? It's already gone from 40 to 140. Trust me, these things, when they go, they will continue to go. There's going to be a whole new level of institutions looking at this stock simply because it's starting to clear its all-time VWAP. So this is an important level to watch. It very well just could sell out from here. Institutions that have been holding it for a while just might say, I'm done. Boom, let's move in. Let's move out of it. You get a whole bunch of sellers in because you got all these buyers down here. They're going to want to sell up there as well. So very interesting to see what's going to happen with Nutex. Rubric, very nice double bottom there, running right to resistance. It's trading right below its all-time high. Pricing is on a volume-weighted basis. These are the leaders. You want to see these stocks that are hitting new all-time highs before the market, approaching those all-time highs before the market. These are our leading stocks. 86% earnings per share growth in the most recent quarter. That is a leading growth stock. Carvana, very strong pattern. We talked about this before. Now it is a little sloppy, right? You got a lot of volatility. Its average daily range is 11.3%. However, those are the fast movers. Those are the ones that go. So it would be nice to see that tighten up a little bit. We do want to see it starting to strengthen. You are seeing resistance at its previous base's all-time VWAP. So we do want to see it break out from there. But if the market hits a green zone right as this thing breaks out, then man, this is definitely going to be a leader moving forward. Same thing with Sezzle. It tried to break out, but right at the end of the last green zone, the market pushed it back, pushed it right back down. You have a nice little breakout with a round trip. Continue to sell off. It's also approaching its all-time high. Same thing with Spotify. Spotify tried to break out in the red zone. It sold off, but it quickly found support and is starting to trade into all-time high territory as well. Same thing with Roblox. It's approaching its resistance. So these are the stocks we're looking for. Eaton Pharmaceuticals, look at that, 66% earnings per share growth in the most recent quarter. Quickly getting right up to resistance. If it breaks out beyond that, we're going to see a potential leader there. S Super Group Limited, this is a relatively new stock for us as well. New to the watch list this week. 243% earnings per share growth the most recent quarter. You have supported a lower VWAP. Quickly running right up into new all-time high territory. These are the stocks you're looking for. It is a little on the lower side, right? It is about $7 in price range. That kind of tends to be a little bit lower than what we look for, but this one hit the prices and the technicals, so we threw it on the watch list. And then Red Violet. This is also a newer watch list stock. Nice double bottom pattern. You're getting clear lower highs, higher lows. I'm sorry, higher lows, lower highs right there, and then higher lows right here. That is a very bullish looking pattern as well. It would not surprise me to see this. Be a leading stock. Once the market hits a new green zone, these are the ones we're going to want to look for. I mean, it's already proven its mettle before. It's gone from down here, it was at 21, and now it's currently at 37. So that is the leading stock. And then, of course, last we have Netflix, already trading an all-time volume-weighted average price basis. The market isn't even anywhere close to that. This is a leading stock. It is a little bit of a flawed pattern, like we talked about before. Lighter volume on the second shakeout, but that's a clear double bottom. You got long-term resist. You got clear support at a couple of different levels here. So Netflix could be a very good leader moving forward. So that's what we're looking at. We're another inflection point. We want to see increased volume moving forward on the S&P 500. If it continues to move beyond that resistance, we're going to run into the 5,600 level. That's going to be the big test. Now, the other second thing is if we get a nice pop out of this, that very well could be a Will O'Neill follow-through day. So you could use that as a chance to get on some of these very early leaders. We use the red zone in our trading program. So we very well could use that follow through as an early attempt to get in, to start taking some risk, especially if we're seeing new all-time highs in leading stocks like we're starting to potentially see. So very, very exciting moment. If it breaks from here lower, we're going to want to see support hold at that VWAP like it did before. We want to see lower volume on that. We would like to see some higher volume on the test and some volume come into play. But what's going to be important, if it does continue to move higher from here, we want to see volume come in, and we want to see some leaders breaking out. So we're coming right into a catalyst point. We're coming right into earnings season, so we could get a nice move higher. So it's just wait and see for right now. It's a good thing we have a nice stockpile of cash, and we have a nice solid watch list, and we have a computer to tell us exactly when these are going to happen. So if you're interested in subscribing to our potential buy and sell signals, you can subscribe at patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And for more information on our model and kind of how we like to view the market, you can visit us at Vwapvision.com. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X, all the social media platforms. And until then, I'll be back tomorrow. And like we say, happy trading.